seaside city of Sekondi, Takoradi. It is with utmost pleasure and honor that I stand before you again today for the 4th consecutive year, welcoming you all to the Ghana Mining Expo here in the Western region.
Honorable Samuel Jinapor, Minister for Land and Natural Resources. Aye binti na wafrau aye buafu. Owo wodene today akuko fitana ohye ne ntechere na otu inchefa fitano. The abode of the stars are your destination. Ghana man today mbone jumapa.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, a young man called Samuel Jinapor, who is the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources, Natural Resources, and also MP for Damango. Please.
Nana Chairman, Nana Angama Tuajan, Paramount Chief of Jura Traditional Area, our hosts, the Western Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Takoradi, our distinguished Governor of the Bank of Ghana, and other senior officials of the bank, honorable ministers, my dependable Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, responsible for mining, and Member of Parliament for Takwa Insuem, Chairman and members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Mines and Energy, Board Chair, members, and Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Chief Executive Officers and other heads of agencies, President, Chief Executive Officer, and members of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives, my good friend, Your Excellency, the South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, captains of the mining industry, representatives of ministries, departments, and agencies, Nananom and Nanahimanom, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I am grateful to the organizers of this Ghana Mining Expo for consistently organizing this program to showcase Ghana's mineral resource potential, promote the country's mining sector to the international community, and build strong partnerships to develop our mineral resources for the sustainable development of our nation. I bring you warm greetings from the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who, but for an ongoing cabinet retreat, would have been personally present with us here today. Mr. President has expressly asked me to inform you that, God willing, next year, he will join us in this historic sea city of Takoradi for the Mining Expo. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Mining Expo, which is in its 4th year, is fast establishing itself as one of the most important mining conferences in the West African region, providing a multi-sectoral platform for the exchange of ideas on investment opportunities and challenges in the African mining sector, with the aim of implementing strategies for accelerated growth in mining while ensuring resilience on all fronts and at all times as Africa's economic bedrock. It is therefore not surprising that the theme chosen for this year's edition is, quote, Sustainable Mineral Resources Development and Well-Being of Mining Communities, end quote. This theme calls for an examination of some of the most important issues in the mining industry, that is, responsible and sustainable mining, and leveraging on that for sustainable development and the well-being of peoples, particularly those affected by mining operations. It brings to sharp focus issues of value addition, maximization of value chain development, environmentally responsible extraction, formalization, best practices, upscaling of exploration, and above all, optimizing all stages of the mining value chain as an anchor for sustainable, inclusive, and holistic national development. Distinguished guests, As you are aware, Ghana is well endowed with substantial mineral resources and has a long history of mining, predating the arrival of the first Europeans on our shores in the 15th century. Today, by dint of hard work and with the cooperation of all stakeholders, particularly the Ghana Chamber of Mines, we are the leading producer of gold on the continent, with gold output in 2022 exceeding 3.74 million ounces. With substantial investments made in the expansion of existing mines and the development of new mines, including Cardinal Resources Namdini in the Upper East region, Azuma Resources in the Upper West region, and Ahafo, Newmont Ahafo North in the Ahafo region, we are confident of maintaining this position in the foreseeable future. Apart from gold, we are blessed with bauxite, manganese, and diamonds, which we have been mining for close to a century, and proven deposits of lithium, iron ore, nickel, zinc, chromium, copper, cobalt, lead, colobite, and tantalite, as well as industrial minerals such as clay, feldspar, limestone, salt, granite, silica sand, kaolin, and the raw materials for the production of activated carbon, which is used in gold production. There are enormous opportunities for investment in all these minerals throughout the entire value chain, as well as opportunities for investment in mine support services. Government is committed to working with the private sector to adopt strategies that will not only exploit these resources, but also transform mining into a catalyst for industrialization. Nana Chair, despite its contribution to our national economy, let's face it, we have not benefited optimally from our mineral resources. This is largely due to over-reliance on the export of minerals in their raw state, absence of linkages with other sectors of the economy, lack of domestic capacity, inadequate monitoring mechanism, and irresponsible mining practices. But this is not peculiar to Ghana. Most of the poorest countries in Africa are resource-rich countries. A 2018 United Nations Economic Commission for Africa study on, quote, scaling up value creation and local development in the mining sector in Ghana, end quote, concluded that Africa's underdevelopment, despite the vast resources at its disposal, is largely due to failure to attract sufficient investment in other diversified activities along the entire value chain of our resources, and our over-dependence on the export of raw minerals. The policy of government for the development of the mining industry has therefore been anchored on three fundamental pillars with the overarching goal of unleashing prosperity for our people. Firstly, is diversification of our mineral resource base to exploit other lesser-known minerals, including the critical minerals required for the green energy transition. The Ghana Geological Survey Authority has conducted considerable geological investigations into these minerals, and the global energy transition makes investment in these minerals very viable. Secondly, is the beneficiation and value addition to minerals mined in our country to ensure that a mutually beneficial situation for both government and investors arises. It is trite learning that the real value of these minerals lie in the value chain. For example, the difference between the prices of our bauxite resources and aluminum ingot, which is produced from these resources, is over 3,000%. This is not different from other minerals. For instance, according to Bloomberg, the global lithium industry at the mining stage is said to be some $11 billion US, while the value of the industry at the highest end is estimated at about some $7 trillion US. If we are to have beneficiation from these minerals, then we must invest in value addition. That is why since the year 2017, under the outstanding leadership of President Akufo-Addo, we continue to pursue policies aimed at adding value to our mineral resources. We have, through a public-private partnership, established a gold refinery, and we are working with the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, the Ghana Chamber of Mines, and others to secure a London Bullion Market Association, LBMA certification, to enable us easily trade gold refined in our country on the international market. As you know, we have established the Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation, GIADEC, and the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, GISDEC, to promote and develop integrated aluminum and iron and steel industries in our country, with an estimated resource of our bauxite base of 900 million metric tons. Developing an integrated aluminum industry is a sine qua non for the substantial growth of our national economy, thereby enabling us to create the thousands of jobs needed to unleash prosperity for the mass of our citizens. We are therefore working with all stakeholders to ensure that in the not too distant future, we do not export our mineral resources in their raw form. And for the green minerals, including lithium, the Cabinet of President Akufo-Addo is currently considering a policy proposal for the exploitation, management, and utilization of these minerals. Our goal is to ensure that as much as possible, we retain a significant proportion of the value chain of these future and other critical minerals in our country. Thirdly, and finally, Nana Chairman, is local content and local participation. We pursue this policy with the overarching objective of ensuring that Ghanaians, who are by the teaching of our national constitution, the owners of our mineral resources, benefit from the mining industry. This year alone, we have increased the items on the local procurement list of goods and services reserved for Ghanaians to 50. This will ensure that we retain here in our country some $3 billion annually, which will otherwise have been funneled out of our country. Distinguished guests, all these policies are implemented in a manner which is acutely conscious of the interests of investors, for we recognize that investors are our natural partners with whom we work towards a common goal, that is, the intelligent, sustainable, and effective exploitation of our mineral resources for our collective good, while ensuring that our mineral resources benefit the nation as a whole. We acknowledge the peculiarity of mining communities who are directly affected by the mining operations. That is why we have established the Minerals Development Fund to provide direct financial resources for the benefit of mining communities. We are also implementing policies such as the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program and the community mining schemes, which will obviously inure to the benefit of mining communities in our country. Nana Chair, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, honorable ministers, chief executive officers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as government continue to implement policies and programs for the sustainable mineral resource development and the well-being of mining communities, we will need the support of all stakeholders. We need to work together to strike the right synergies, source for the requisite expertise, develop the relevant innovations, and build the right partnerships to achieve the needed growth and transformation we desire. We must remember that it's our collective responsibility to leverage sustainable mineral resource development for optimal socio-economic growth and development. Government has an obligation to develop mining communities, but I dare say all of us, particularly operators in the mining industry, have an obligation too. We share this responsibility at our own peril. We owe this duty not only to current generations, but also future generations. We at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, under the able leadership of President Akufo-Addo, remain absolutely committed to working with all stakeholders to deliver on this sacred duty. With this, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nana Chair, it is my honor to declare the 2023 Ghana Mining Expo duly open. I wish you fruitful deliberations, and may God continue to bless us all and our republic. I thank you for your attention.